Hello everyone, welcome back to the Traxion YouTube channel and welcome to week 6 of our Global Mazda MX-5 Cup Track Guide series on iRacing. Now week 6 brings us to Charlotte Roval, a much trickier track than people give it credit for. So if you've followed my track guides before, you'll know that they are not a place for hot laps. It's a slow, methodical approach to learn the circuit where I talk about my braking markers, my reference points and the little quirks that each circuit has. As usual, I will show you a flying lap in full, then we'll jump in the car, do a few laps, and show you those braking markers and reference points in action. Then at the end, we'll talk about pit entry, pit exit, and where I think you can overtake this week at Charlotte Roval. So enough talking, let's get on track. So here we are then on the start-finish line here at Charlotte Roval. So as usual, we've set the sim time to match the official series. So it's the 1st of April 2022 and the time in the sim is 12 noon. We're also using the iRacing baseline setup, which is what is used in the official series. And for information, track temperature right now is 45 degrees Celsius, exactly the same as it was in the flying lap that you've just seen. Now Charlotte Roval, quite a tricky circuit, much more technical than people give it credit for. And it's all about the chicanes. It's all about the curbs. It's all about abusing the curbs to get a faster lap time. But we'll go over that as we go around the track. So turn number 1, we're going to be on the right-hand side of the circuit. We're going to be in 3rd gear. And we're going to be braking just before the 1. We're going to be braking up to about 30%. We're going to be trail braking to the apex, turning in, kissing this curb on the left-hand side, ideally. But as soon as we're on this apex in 3rd gear, we're going to be right back on the gas. The car will push out towards the wall. But that's fine, but we want the car as far over to the right as we can before we turn in for turn number 2, which is blind. You've got to turn in much earlier than you think. And you can see on the inside of this turn, it is cambered, it is banked, so the tighter you can get to the wall, the better. But just be careful you don't get too tight. So flat out round here, the car will push out towards the centre of the circuit, but then we need to get it back over to the left-hand side for turn number 3. Now turn 3, quite a tricky turn this one. It's really easy to get a little bit greedy around here. And if you do, then you go off the track onto the red and white paint and there's not much grip on there at all. So braking just before the Bank of America sign, only a small amount, maybe 20%, just for a short time as well, just to get the front of the car loaded, just to get it to turn towards the apex. But as soon as we're on the apex, a short burst of acceleration, and then just before the white line going across the circuit there, we're going to be back on the brakes, again, just for a short time, just to get the car slowed enough for turn number 4. Now, as you can see, as I mentioned, the red and white curb in there, you can see the track drops off to the left quite considerably there. It's off camber, so if you do go on the left-hand side of that blue line, then there's not much grip. So before we turn in for turn number 4, we're going to be dropping down to 2nd gear. That just gives the car a little bit of extra rotation. I'm going to be off the gas, but before the apex, we're going to be accelerating through it. And we're going to let the car run all the way out wide to the left-hand side of this curb. and use all of this pavement here on the run up to turn number 5. Now we're going to be in third gear, holding third gear. Just before the red and white paint, straight ahead, we're going to be turning, and we're going to be aiming for the curb on the right hand side, the red and white curb. Don't touch the sausage curb. And then at this point, we're going to be looking for a braking marker for turn number 6. And there's nothing really either side of the circuit, but if you look on the circuit itself, there are some tyre marks which don't change. They are there all the time. So there's one right above my instrument cluster now. I'll move my mouse there. This one, it's this one that we want. We want the second one. So that's what the one that we need to look out for. We're going to be aiming for that. Then we're going to be braking in a straight line all the way down to second gear. Again, stay to the right hand side, or stay to the right hand side of this blue line. You can see how much the track drops off to the left hand side. If you go over there, there's practically zero grip. So second gear, you've got to be really patient around turn number 6, because if you push too much, your car will be too far over to the left for turn number 7 and your lap time is gone. So nice and tight around here. Ideally, we want to be looking at exiting this turn in the center of the circuit. Accelerating second gear up to third gear. Now, round this turn here, around turn number 7, you can use all of this on the left-hand side up to the blue cones. But I like to take a little bit of a wider line, try and keep the momentum up as much as I can around turn number 7 as we approach turn number 8, which is a critical turn. The exit of turn number 8 is critical. Now let the car move over to the right-hand side. We're going to be in third gear, and you can see these lights on the wall there. That's what I use as my reference point for braking for turn number 8. So I want the car, I generally have my right tyres round about on the blue line. As soon as we pass that light, then we can get on the brakes a tiny bit, maybe 10%. Again, just to load the front tyres, just to enable it to turn in for turn number 8. And we're going to be off the gas at this point. Third gear, we're going to be off the gas, and we're going to be turning in. We want the car as close to this wall as we possibly can, and then get on the accelerator right across this paved area here, up towards the oval. The car will push towards the wall, but keep turning left, and it will come back down as we go around turn number 9. Now keep your left tyres as close to the blue line on the left as you possibly can. Make the track as short as you can. Depending on how your exit was out of turn number 8, you might need 5th gear going up here. Now to this first chicane, which is critical. Now there are a couple of ways you can approach this chicane. You can jump the first curb, miss the second one, jump both of them, miss the first one, jump the second one. I find that going over the first part of the chicane with my left tyres and then missing the second one gives me a better exit. I find that if I jump the curb on exit, then I'm always struggling for traction and my exit is always compromised. So we're going to be braking at the 2 board, and we're going to be going all the way down to second gear. We're not going to use first gear here this week at Charlotte. All the way down to second gear, and I like to turn in, jump this first curb, and then miss the second one. I do like to touch my right tyres on the red and white curbing, but no more than that. If I go any more than that, then it doesn't settle the car. You might have seen in the flying lap, I did hit that curb a little bit harder than I normally would, and I had to counter steer on exit of this turn. It just makes things a little bit more difficult. So if we can get that exit right, then it's flat out all the way around here. Just dodge that wall, then cut across this painted area on the left hand side. As long as we're on the oval before this white line, I think that's acceptable. So again, hug a nice tight line all the way around turn number 14. Now the approach to turn number 15 is crucial. Now you can see as we approach the chicane, you can see the blue line kind of curves round to the left hand side, and just to the left hand side of that blue line you can see like a strip of grass. Well, that's AstroTurf, and you can put your left tyres on that. Not too much, because you will get an off track, but I like to put my left tyres on there to try and make the approach to turn number 15 as straight as I possibly can. So left tyres on here. As soon as I enter this AstroTurf area, I am on the brakes, nice and gradual, nice and smooth, then turn in, and you want to clip this or jump this chicane, the first part with your right tyres, and then again with your left tyres on this second part. Try and straight line it as much as you can. Bear in mind the second part, turn number 16, is much more steep than the first part, so it will jump a little bit more. So just a nice neutral throttle going through there, especially on exit. and then get back on the gas. And then that pushes you out wide for your natural line down to turn number 1. So up to 4th gear, and then just before the 1 board, we're going to be down to 3rd gear. Trail brake into the apex. As soon as you're on the apex, get on the accelerator, let the car run all the way out wide. We're going to turn in nice and early, get as close to this wall as you can. The car will run out in the centre of the circuit, but just get it over to the left just before the Bank of America sign. Small amount of brake just to get the car to the apex. Little burst of acceleration, and then back on the brakes again, down to 2nd, get the car to rotate. And then before the apex here, we're going to be back on the accelerator. All the way up to 3rd gear, hold 3rd gear along here. Just before the red and white paint, we're going to be turning in, looking for that tyre mark. There it is. Down to 2nd gear, but nice and patient around here. Get on the gas accelerator at the apex. And a nice wide arc around here, 3rd gear, and be close to this wall as you possibly can. Then get on the accelerator. The car will run out towards the wall, but then just move it back down to the left. Hook this blue line all the way around. And then up to 5th as we approach turn number 10. Braking at the 2 board, and we're going to be looking to, or I always try and jump the first curb, and then miss the 2nd one, and then get on the accelerator. We touched that one a little bit. Cross this painted area, but get back on before the white line. Again, nice and tight around turn number 14. So we're looking for the AstroTurf area as the blue line curves around to the left. We're going to be putting our left tyres on there just a little bit. And we're going to be going down into 3rd gear. Nice gentle braking. Missed that first one by a country mile. Right, we'll pick up the pace. Try and get some heat into the tyres. So just before the 1, we're going to be on the brakes to the apex. Get on the gas at the apex. Let the car run all the way out wide. Nice early turn in. As close to this wall as you can. And just before the Bank of America sign, we're going to be on the brakes a little bit just to get the car to the apex. A little bit of acceleration. Then back on the brakes. Down to 2nd gear. Then get on the gas before the apex. Let the car run all the way out wide. Then before the painted area straight ahead, we're going to be turning. Looking for the tyre mark. There it is. Down to 2nd gear. Nice and tight around here. And get on the gas just before the apex. Then up to 3rd gear. Nice wide line around here. There's the light. So we're going to be on the brakes. Getting close to this wall. Then get on the gas. Then move the car back down to the left hand side. So again, we're going to be going up to 5th gear as we approach turn number 10. We're going to be braking at the 2. Hit the first curb, but try and miss the 2nd one. There's the first. Miss the 2nd one. Get on the gas. Car will run out wide. Then across this painted area. Nice and tight around turn 14. Again, looking for that AstroTurf area. We're going to put our left tyres on there. Nice gentle braking as we enter this braking zone. So jump the first one. Jump the 2nd one. There we go. That's a bit better. One more lap. I'll try and pick up the pace a little bit. On the gas at the apex. Car will run out wide, but it's fine. Keep your foot in it. Nice and tight to the wall. Again, nice gradual braking round here. Don't get too greedy. Out of 2nd gear. Get on the gas before the apex. That last lap was a 33.2. So a nice steady lap. So just before the red and white paint, we're going to turn. Look for our braking marker. There it is there. Nice and tight around here. Nice and patient on the gas. A nice wide line around here. 3rd gear. Looking for the lights. There it is on the brakes. Get the car to turn in. Then get on the gas. Just before we get to that wall. And nice and tight all the way around turn number 9. Again, we're looking to hit the first part of the chicane and not the 2nd. We're braking at the 2. There's the first, not the 2nd. Get on the gas. Touched it a little bit, but that's fine. Just with the front tyre. Nice and tight all the way around here. We can get the left tyres on the AstroTurf. Jump this first one. And then jump the 2nd one. There we go. There we go. So that's a 32.866. So there's a lot more time in the car. I can't remember what the time was in the flying lap. I think it was a 32.4. So there's another half a second left in the car. But it's all about the curbs. Right, let's have a look at pit entry, pit exit. So pit entry here at Charlotte Roval isn't too bad. So if you need to pit in the Global Mazda Series, it's because you've got a penalty which you haven't cleared, or you've got some damage and you're going to go in for your fast repair. So around the final turn, turn number 14, just approach it as normal. If you've got some damage, it would be a wise idea just to approach it on the apron. But if you're going in for your penalty, just approach it as normal. If there's somebody behind you, however, I always like to go to the left-hand side of the blue line just before it ends, just to make sure that they know where I'm going. So around about here, I would move over to the left-hand side. Now, the yellow cone does come up on you quite quickly. So just as you round past this Toyota sign on the left-hand side, you want to be getting on the brakes and get your pit limiter on. The speed limit 64 kilometers an hour, so it's actually not too bad here at Charlotte. 64, so it doesn't take much getting down to the speed limit. You just need to make sure that the guys behind know that you're coming into the pits. Now, pit exit isn't too bad. The left turn coming out of the pits, the first left turn is a bit of a nightmare. So if your pit box is here somewhere, I would always suggest moving your car over to the right hand side just to enable you just to take this turn as a normal turn, just to get on the gas a little bit sooner there. Now, you can see the blue line on the right hand side there, so we need to stay to the left of that. This is pit lane, and you can see the blue cone coming up. Now, the thing we need to worry about here is this is precisely the point where if somebody was on a flying lap, that they would start to move over to the left-hand side. So be very, very careful when you're coming out the pits if you're coming into traffic. There's nowhere for you to go here apart from on the grass. So you can't get any further over to the left than you can. There's the blue line. This is the point where people are going to be moving over to open up this right-hander. So hopefully they're looking at their relative. That's one thing you need to bear in mind. Keep an eye on your relative. If there are people on a flying lap, just go wide, let them through and try and tuck in behind them. Right, overtaking at Charlotte. Not easy, but it can be done. So, overtaking at Charlotte Roval, it's not that easy. A lot of the lap is a bit of a procession, but there are places you can do, and if you're racing with somebody clean, then it does offer some really good racing in the infield. So, turn number 1, obviously, that's where I would be trying to make a move, getting a good exit out of the final turn, but you've got to set it up coming out of that chicane. So if you can get down the inside into turn number 1, happy days. They're not going to be able to hold it around the outside, or very unlikely. But if you get a better run and there's some slight overlap, if you're racing against somebody and they defend going into turn number 1, then if you can somehow hold it around turn number 1 and 2, then you've definitely got the move done in 3 and 4. And it can be done. This is where I've overtaken people before, holding an outside line around here. And around here is not too difficult to hold an outside line around turn number 2. And then if you get that done, if you're at this point on the inside, then that's where you're going to get the overtake done. Round here, there's not really a lot going to happen round here. Though there shouldn't be. It's a little bit sketchy overtaking round here. And again, you're going to get people going to be inside of turn number 5. That's one of the favoured overtaking opportunities. If somebody doesn't defend, or somebody will make a lunge going into this turn here. So somebody will try and lunge up the inside. If you're racing somebody and somebody's defending into here, then you can hold the outside line going around turn number 5. And if you can hold it going around turn number 5, turn number 6, if you can hold it going around the outside of turn number 6, then you're going to get the move done around turn number 7. But just bear in mind that they may hit straight back going down the straight into the first chicane. You've got to make sure you give them room on the outside. But again, because you've got a tighter line, your exit round here is going to be compromised. So you're going to have to defend going into turn number 10, which is the first chicane. Now, I don't mind somebody defending into this chicane. If I'm going to overtake somebody, I think I would probably rather overtake them on the outside going into the first part. Let somebody defend. That's fine. I don't mind that at all. I would rather overtake them here. Just brake a little bit later than the 2. Just a little bit of a tighter, wider line round here. And then here you may need to cut this curb on the inside. But if you get that done, then I think you'll get a better exit and be able to hold it around turn number 14 for the last chicane. Again, there's not going to be really anything doing into the last chicane, or you will see people trying to overtake, but I don't think that's wise. I would much rather make somebody think that I'm going to overtake them into here and then quickly switch back to my normal line and try and get them on the exit into turn number 1. So that would be my advice. Round the outside, turns 1 and 2, get the overtake done at 3 and 4. Round the outside, turn 6, overtake into turn 7. Or try and get a better exit out of the final chicane, turn 15, 16, and overtake them into turn number 1. So there we go. That's week 6 done here at Charlotte Roval. Please let me know down below in the comments how you get on. What were your times before the guide? What were your times after? Did I help? Did I cover everything that you wanted to be covered in a track guide? Next week, we go to Oran Park Grand Prix. I don't ever think I've raced the Mazda there, so I better get my skates on and get practicing right now. As always, thank you for watching. Good luck this week. Keep it pinned.